These allegations are completely unfounded. The company was not aware of any wrongdoing. I love you. We hear anywhere from 10 to 200 lies a day, and we've spent much of our history coming up with ways to detect them, from medieval torture devices to polygraphs, blood pressure and breathing monitors, voice stress analyzers, eye trackers, infrared brain scanners, and even the 400-pound electroencephalogram. But although such tools have worked under certain circumstances, most can be fooled with enough preparation, and none are considered reliable enough to even be admissible in court. But what if the problem is not with the techniques, but the underlying assumption that lying spurs physiological changes? Let's dive into this fascinating world of lies and detection techniques. First, think about how often we encounter lies daily. From little white lies like "sorry, my phone died" to more significant deceptions like "these allegations are completely unfounded." We've tried everything to catch liars, from medieval torture devices to modern tech like polygraphs and even brain scanners. But here's the kicker, none of these methods are foolproof. A skilled liar can prepare and trick these devices, and they're so unreliable they can't be used as evidence in court. So, what if we've been looking at this all wrong? Instead of focusing on how lying affects the body, what if we looked at the lies themselves using communication science on a psychological level? We lie partly to make ourselves look better, linking our fantasies with the person we want to be rather than who we are. But while our brains are busy crafting these fantasies, they let slip plenty of clues. Let's get into some psychology. Our conscious mind only controls about 5% of our cognitive function, including communication. The other 95% happens without us even realizing it. According to research on reality monitoring, stories based on imagined experiences are qualitatively different from those based on real experiences. This means that making up a fake story about something personal requires effort and results in a different pattern of language use. Linguistic text analysis is a tool that helps identify these patterns in the subconscious language of deception. Here are 4 common patterns found in the language of liars. Self-references. Liars tend to mention themselves less when making deceptive statements. They talk more about others, often using the third person to distance themselves from the lie. For example, "absolutely no party took place at this house" sounds more false than "I didn't host a party here." Negativity. Liars often use more negative language because they feel guilty about lying. For instance, a liar might say, "Sorry, my stupid phone battery died. I hate that thing." Simplicity. Liars usually explain events in simple terms because creating a complex lie is hard for the brain. As a famous U.S. president once said, "I did not have sexual relations with that woman." Short and simple. Convoluted phrasing. Even though liars keep their descriptions simple, they tend to use longer and more complex sentence structures, adding unnecessary words and irrelevant details to pad the lie. Another president, confronted with a scandal, said, "I can say, categorically, that this investigation indicates that no one on the White House staff, no one in this administration presently employed was involved in this very bizarre incident." Quite a mouthful, right? Let's apply these insights to some famous cases. Take Lance Armstrong, the 7-time Tour de France winner. Comparing a 2005 interview where he denied taking performance-enhancing drugs to a 2013 interview where he admitted it, his use of personal pronouns increased by nearly 75%. Notice the difference between these two quotes. First, "Okay, you know, a guy in a Parisian laboratory opens up your sample, you know, Jean-Francis so-and-so, and he tests it. And then you get a phone call from a newspaper that says, 'We found you to be positive 6 times for EPO.' Second, I lost myself in all of that. I'm sure there would be other people that couldn't handle it, but I certainly couldn't handle it, and I was used to controlling everything in my life. I controlled every outcome in my life. In his denial, Armstrong described a hypothetical situation focused on someone else, distancing himself from the scenario. In his admission, he took ownership of his statements, delving into his emotions and motivations. Now, let us look at another example from former Senator and U.S. presidential candidate John Edwards. When denying paternity, he said, "I only know that the apparent father has said publicly that he is the father of the baby. I also have not been engaged in any activity of any description that requested, agreed to,